Hello EFD squad and welcome back to the Euro Roundup where you pick our winners and losers from the weekend just past. Strictly continent, Joseph, starting with our winners, Barcelona.
Yes, they kicked off their season with a 3-0 pumping, really, of Alaves at the Camp Nou. It took them 64 minutes to open the scoring here, but I don't know how. They had 25 shots, Alaves mustered 3. They had 9 on target, Alaves mustered a big fat 0, and they had 80% possession. This was a murky. No prizes for guessing who was unbelievable on the day. Yes, it was Lionel Messi yet again. If you haven't seen his free kick yet, make sure you go and search that on Twitter. Under the wall, it's unbelievable. It's Barcelona's 6,000th goal in La Liga history. Of course, as well, he was the club captain for the first time, obviously taking the reins from Iniesta. He has been captain on the field before, I'm aware of that, but the club captain is now Lionel Messi. So he was unreal, Barcelona were unreal, and that was without any of their summer signings.
Yeah, they look really good in that 4-3-3, and it sort of looked like Valverde has taken the shackles off this side. Now he's happy with his front six, and I am dumbfounded as to how they didn't score before the hour mark. They absolutely murdered Alaves.
Messi had 8 shots.
Enough. They started the game with none of their summer signings on the field, although Arta and Vidal both came on in the closing stages. Arta getting an assist after 13 minutes on the pitch, although Coutinho did do the majority of the work, dripping honey with every single touch after he picked up his fellow Brazilian's pass. Went past one, little shimmy, and wrapped it sort of mid-right. Glorious. Definitely go and watch the highlights of this game. This is the most exciting lineup I've seen for a while at Barcelona. Now, aside from Messi, Rakitic was the outstanding performer. Started on the right of that midfield three. The Croatian absolutely bossed the game, had the most touches on 145, made the most passes on 127.
Stanky.
Metronome with a 95% success rate. And he won the most aerial duels as well to boot. Not normally a stat you associate with him, although he's around 6 foot, I believe, with an 80% success rate. So Alaves couldn't even play the long ball. And early in the first half, Rakitic played a superlative ball. Got his lob wedge out, bang, to Messi. Messi took it down. And props to the Alaves keeper because he was formidable on the day. Did not deserve to be on the end of a 3-0 ass whooping. Now, Barca normally win their opening fixture, don't they? In fact, this was their 10th in a row. And the last time they failed to win was Pep Guardiola's first game as boss back in 2008 when they lost 1-0 to Numancia.
That's a weird one. This was a battering though, wasn't it? We all knew it was going to be a battering as well.
Really, really enjoyed it. I'm not sure how Luis Suarez didn't score. Obviously got the assist for Messi's final goal.
Worrying.
A tiny bit. He was getting into good spaces. I think the goals will come, but the Alaves goalkeeper, wow, oh wow. Barcelona fans, does this 4-3-3 excite you? It should do. It excites me. I have a semi on right now. Let's move on into our first losers to calm me down.
Our first loser was sent in by Isaac Seiki 8, and it's Inter Milan. Yes, they had a smashing summer. We've been bigging them up on Sunday Vibes and Continental Club, but they slumped to a 1-0 loss against Sassuolo away from home. It's actually the 4th time in a row that's happened. They've become something of a bogey team, haven't they? Sassuolo, really. They've won more matches against Inter in Serie A than against any other side. They've won 7 of the 11 fixtures. The only new boys as well that started, obviously made a myriad of signings in the summer, were Lautaro Martinez, Asamoah, De Vrij and Politano. Asamoah put in a decent shift at left midfield. The Ghanaian had 3 key passes, 3 dribbles, but Lautaro Martinez, a stinker on the day. Despite some impressive work in pre-season as well, he just wasn't good enough. No dribbles, no key passes, no shots. He was on the pitch for 70 minutes, played just off Mauro Icardi. At the end of the day, not good enough. Inter Milan, anyone that thinks they can challenge Juventus this season is a moron. There you go. I've said it. It's not happening. They're going to finish 15 points off.
I think most level-headed Inter Milan fans will just want to establish themselves or re-establish themselves as a Champions League.
But the people have been
club.
talking about Inter Milan being the only side that can challenge Juventus'
I think that's just
dominance.
Come on. As a result of signing Nainggolan, as a result of
maybe
spending
being
money
linked to
elsewhere,
Modric.
getting De Vrij in from
You might be
Lazio,
right.
being linked to Modric, yeah. Politano actually came from Sassuolo, and his output was very good for them last season, 10 goals, 4 assists. But he was largely ineffective this game, despite putting in some decent set pieces. Saw one very decent long-range effort flash past the post, but Inter Milan very rarely threatened until the latter stages of the game. I think it was De Vrij who actually almost scored with a header on the 95th minute. But let's go back to Sassuolo's opener, because it was Berardi. He slotted a penalty right down the middle after a clumsy Miranda foul, let's call it, but it was extremely light.
It was barely contact.
Yeah, the Sassuolo player took a tumble. Berardi tucked it away. I think 4 goals, 2 assists for him last season. He's going to have to score a lot more, contribute a lot more in front of goal after Politano's exit. They did play Kevin Prince Boateng up front in this game, and he did hit the woodwork. So maybe he can chip in with a few goals as well for his new club. But apart from that, nothing of note really happened in front of Inter's goal. Quite an attritional game. Saying that, a lot of shots, but a lot of low-quality shots. 26 between the two sides, only 5 registering on target. And expected goals reflected this. Actually had it 1.4 to 1.2 in Sassuolo's favour. So, like Joe said, Inter not really deserving of anything from this game. Still early days for Spalletti. Really stabilised the club last season, didn't he? Just signed a new deal, rightly so as well. Definitely the man they should have at the helm leading this renaissance. Although it's been, they've taken the sting out of it at the start of the season, Sassuolo. Keita, Nainggolan, Skriniar, Perisic, Vrščálko all didn't start, so the best is yet to come, one would imagine. But if they want a challenge for the title, like you said, can't be dropping silly points to Sassuolo. Mid-table opposition at best, although their booby team, Juventus, obviously just edging Chievo, which might give them a little bit of hope. But where do you guys think Inter are going to finish this season? Let us know in the comments below. Moving swiftly into our second winner.
Our final winners are PSG and Kylian Mbappe, because of course they scored 3 again, got 3 more points and won 3-1 against Guingamp. They obviously went 1-0 down, but they came back in pretty emphatic fashion. That Neymar penalty off some magical footwork inside of the box. Their expected goals 2.62. When you've got 2.6 expected goals, you are pretty much going to win every single game. The real talking point, though, we have to come on to him quickly. It's Kylian Mbappe, 19 years old, just won a World Cup, comes on at half-time in this one and bags a brace. If you haven't seen his second goal, go and watch that as well. It is dirty. The finish is ridiculous. He's now got 30 goals in Ligue 1. He's yet to reach the age of 20. He's the first player to do that in 45 years. That is ridiculous. The kid's ceiling is so high.
He's a freak.
I mean, he was on for 45 minutes. He took 3 shots, 2 goals, completed 4 dribbles. His touch, his speed, his finishing, everything about him suggests he is going to be the next world superstar.
Yeah. His general build-up play in this game as well was really
so
impressive.
good. It's almost reminiscent for me of when R9 broke onto the scene. It's a similar sort of breakout performance. It's ridiculous. His level is so much better than nearly everyone else, maybe other than Neymar on the pitch. It's just incredible for a 19-year-old.
He's looking a lot more built out as well, which is a scary prospect because he was quite wiry before.
Yeah, I know, he was. Although I hope he doesn't build out too much, because I think that kind of adds an element to his game, that wiry speed. Yeah.
On the subject of youngsters in this game, there were some nice little collector's items that happened. In 1997, Marcus Thuram was born in Parma, while his dad Lilian Thuram and Gianluigi Buffon were still club teammates. In 2018, Marcus Thuram and Gigi Buffon swapped shirts after playing against each other in League One.
So sick.
So not only am I questioning what was I doing at the age of 19 after watching Kylian Mbappe at this game, I'm now thinking, Christ, what am I going to be doing at 40? Because did you see the save that Buffon made in
down,
this game?
up, bang, over.
Absolutely disgusting. He still got it, has the cat. But on the subject of 40, PSG have been linked with someone for 40 million euros, Joseph.
Whoa.
And that
See, that's for a
is how you
segue.
get a transfer rumour into a section of ERU when it probably doesn't belong there. Okay? And this is because Bayern club president has stated that Jerome Boateng has a 50-50% chance of leaving Germany, stating that Jerome has told Karl-Heinz Rummenigge that he wants out. Now, despite Thomas Tuchel signing Keller from Schalke, and also coming out and saying that his summer is pretty much done. I believe if he's made available for the right price, PSG might be tempted to go back in for him in a bid to help their, well, bid for the Champions League, I guess, because I don't think you can rely on Boateng over the course of a season. He's not completed 20 games since 2015 in a single domestic campaign.
Crazy.
Now, I'm led to believe that they would save that 40 million, this is Bayern, for a massive overhaul of the squad next season, because Robben and Ribery have signed one-year contracts.
Yeah.
They'll need to sign replacements for those players. They do have ready-made replacements in the form of Kingsley Coman and Leon Goretzka, but they're going to need to sign backups for those guys. Serge Gnabry, of course, at the club as well. Benjamin Pavard is coming in next season.
Yeah.
So I'm led to believe this would help fund big moves for different players next year. They would stockpile that money. Not that exciting for this summer, but PSG, kind of okay for central defensive options. I'm sure
so surprised
if
at
this
this
entirely makes sense from the Parisians' point of view. They've got Thiago Silva, they've got Marquinhos, they've got Kimpembe, who got an awful lot of time last season when other players were injured, and now they have the young German from Schalke, who we discussed on last week's transfer review. So, is this just Hoeneß and Rummenigge trying to generate interest around the player? Maybe.
I think it definitely is. I think it definitely is. And they want to ship him on now before he takes another year off his contract and probably another 15 million euros off his price tag. And if they can get the right sum for him, he'll definitely leave. I think next summer's going to be massive. I think the players you talked about in Kingsley Coman might be a starting option. I kind of see Leon Goretzka and Serge Gnabry as backup options to a major signing they're going to make to replace Robben or Ribery.
They play more centrally
Yeah,
as well,
I don't really
Goretzka,
see
not
them
Gnabry.
in the same ilk as Robben and Ribery. I think they're going to look to spend, I think it was on the front cover of Bild actually today, in the region of 100 million euros signing Robben and Ribery replacements next summer when Benjamin Pavard comes in as well, and they look to overhaul the squad. And when that happens, there are some exciting young options on the market. Memphis Depay probably available, might go for Christian Pulisic. Anthony Martial probably going to be available if Jose Mourinho is still at the club there. So Bayern fans, it's going to be an exciting time next summer. But for now, you're winning. You're going to win the league. Who really cares? Our final loser is Rayo Vallecano, and I'll be completely honest, we've only put Rayo Vallecano in there so we can talk about Sevilla, because Sevilla pumped them 4-1. It was Rayo's return to La Liga for the first time in 2 years, playing in a new look stadium and under a new attacking manager, who, by the way, is a former Rayo player, I believe. He actually coached the academy, Michel, up until 2017. Then he took charge of the first team last season. He's managed 60 games. I think he's won about half of them, taking about 1.7 points per game. Not a bad total in the Segunda Division. His side also scored 85 in the league last year, which was pretty impressive. But in this game, completely outclassed. I thought Sevilla looked gravy, especially that new attacking force they've got in Andre Silva.
Yeah, there was that moment in the sort of opening exchanges of the game where it looked like Vallecano had scored a beautiful goal, a little treat.
Didn't happen.
He took it first time, did the striker.
Offside.
I can't remember his name, sorry.
Was he offside?
But it was flag,
he was, wasn't it?
yeah, flag 4 offside. But like you said, Sevilla did eventually take their chances, because it was wave after wave slowly drifting of attacks up until that point, with on-loan striker Andre Silva having a very, very good 90. 6 shots, 5 on target, bagging a hat-trick, so extremely decisive.
Andre.
And he's been waiting a long time for a game like that, hasn't he? Because it took him about 3 or 4 months to score his first league goal in AC Milan.
Wolves should have got him. Wolves could have got him, should have got him. They'll be gutted to miss out on him.
Maybe next season. Andre Silva became the first player to score a hat-trick on his La Liga debut in the 21st century. The previous was Romario in 1993-1994. A great little nugget of information. The Portuguese has already scored more in his time at Sevilla in the league than he did in Italy, playing 24 games for AC. Like I said, not enjoying his time there, scoring just twice. And we know what a quality player he is.
Yeah.
We know how good he was for Portugal during the World Cup qualifications. So hopefully he can hit those same heights again in La Liga. They went 3-0 up at half-time, did the Andalusians. The last time Sevilla scored 3 goals at half-time away from home in La Liga was April 2013. So the away fans, a little treat for them. Rayo Vallecano, though, conversely, in for an extremely tough run. Their next 2 games are Atletico Madrid and Bilbao, while Sevilla, who are now top of the table, in fact, face Sigma in a Europa League qualifier, not the sort of DJ, and Villarreal next up in the league. So I really enjoyed Sevilla's press in this game. They've got a new attack-minded coach. We're going to profile him a little bit more in EFD moving forward. But for now, Sevilla fans, enjoy. So that was the Euro Roundup, guys. As always, thank you for tuning in. Get your suggestions in at us on Twitter next week, and we'll give you a shout out. This episode handles on screen because we forgot to include them in the script. Joe, what else is on?
Come and watch Winners and Losers. We talk through all the biggest talking points from the Premier League over the weekend, and you'll get my opinion on the show that was Manchester United yesterday, because it wasn't pretty.
You really let us lose. Bye-bye.